Good morning, Jefferson City. Welcome to the NT Daily for Wednesday, August 19th. I am in chipper spirits this morning because my children finally went back to school. So I feel like I have a new glow. Fresh kids are in school glow. And I have one of my favorites in the studio with me this morning, Stephi Smith. Welcome back.
I'm happy to be here.
We had an exciting city council meeting the other night. We have a Ward 3 council member.
Yeah.
Tell us how it all went down.
Yeah, they selected Hal Dooley, who was one of the two people that they were to pick from. And Hal Dooley, it was a pretty close vote. It was 5-4 and of 9 people. And right before they voted, one councilman, Mike Lester, said that he had concerns about whether Dooley would take the position as seriously as his opponent, Susan Cook. But I guess enough people disagreed and were in favor of Hal Dooley.
Okay. So might be a little awkward on the council. Yeah. We'll see how that plays out. I would love to have Hal in the studio soon. That would be great.
Until April 2027 is when he would, and he said he wants to run for re-election again, so it might be longer.
Well, we will have to have our good friend Hal in here to talk about how he is going to represent the folks from Ward 3. Let's talk a little bit about the process, though, because it is August 19th, and I believe Derek Thomas put his resignation in June. So that's at least a 2-month gap, and I think he gave like a month notice, correct? So kind of a long process for something that doesn't actually have to go to a vote of the people. And then they had a couple of process questions, and they even maybe made a recommendation for a new process. Do you think they'll revisit that?
I think that they might, just because, again, like you said, with how long that this has taken. And the reason that it's taken long is in part because the process requires like a 2-week break between certain meetings, but then on top of that, you also have to give people time to learn that there's a vacancy and put their name forward, and then go through those people and make sure that they are qualified. And so if you can, I think the city, if they want to cut that down, then they would probably revisit it.
So they could revisit even just the timelines, right? And make those more condensed.
I think that's what they were trying to do with the last proposed bill to change this process, was just to kind of allow it to happen in fewer meetings and a little closer together. But that bill ended up dying, and then there was another vacancy, so it's like you couldn't really be focusing on how to fill the vacancy while also trying to fill the vacancy. So they might revisit it now that there's 10 people again.
Yeah, that makes sense. Well, qualifications for public office. I didn't know we had to have those these days. Interesting. I'm gonna have to get some of our city officials on here and talk about that. Before we move on, we are going to hear from a few of our sponsors, and we had our happy hour to release the new summer back to school. Well, I guess it wasn't the summer. It was the back to school edition of our JC&T magazine with Lincoln University President Mosley on the cover. So hopefully you will be getting those in your mailboxes soon, or picking up from any of our friends in downtown Jefferson City. Lots of locations to find the JC&T magazine. Before we move on, today's NT Daily is sponsored by MU Healthcare. If you're looking for advanced heart care close to home, MU Healthcare offers the region's most comprehensive cardiovascular services and is accepting new patients in Columbia and Jefferson City. From preventative heart screenings and diagnostic testing to leading-edge care for complex conditions, you can find the support and expertise you need. Call 573-88-HEART to schedule an appointment today, or visit muhealth.org/heart care now to learn more. MU Healthcare, expert care close to you. And they also had a discussion, and the impetus for this discussion could have been one Stephi Smith article.
Yes.
But we have had quite the social media stir up lately over your article about flock cameras. It seems that the folks were unaware that we had flock cameras in Jeff City. So there was a robust discussion on Monday, right?
My story was because those flock cameras have been all over the news lately, and I know that Jefferson City had them, but then I was talking to some people and they were like, Jefferson City doesn't have any flock cameras. And so I was kind of hoping to maybe just inform people that Jefferson City does have flock cameras. This is how the police department uses them. And then suddenly everybody's talking about flock cameras in Jefferson City, which I guess is good because people read the newspaper.
Yeah.
Anyways, so
we love to see it. We love to see it. This is what we're here for. A little discussion, jumping off point. So Chief Wilde testified on Monday, correct? And he tried to, I think, give some more information about their use. And
Yeah, because
how that conversation go.
There was a thing on the agenda to renew the city's subscription with Flock. It's paid for by a federal grant. It's $51,000. And Councilman Cody Holt said that he was just kind of wanted to talk about some concerns that people have had about privacy and the company. And Police Chief Eric Wilde, said that there are a lot of guardrails in place, a lot of training in place with police officers. He reminded people that the cameras are just for license plates, and that he said that the police department has used them to catch homicides and a lot of like missing cars and kidnapping. And Shane Campeter at one point said that, I don't know if I necessarily want to say it like this, but he said it like, he was basically saying like, if you're the victim of a crime, you probably would want these kind of things in place because they can catch, certain things really, really fast. And he said a car can leave Jefferson City in like minutes. And so if you really need to get that car and something bad is happening, you are probably going to be pretty happy if these work the way that they're supposed to. But people are still kind of, I think, concerned.
And I think Flock cameras are not a new technology. Private businesses have probably been using them in Jeff City for years.
You can look at, there's, the map that I was using is called DFlock. It's like a crowdsourced thing. So if you see a Flock camera, you can put it on this little map. And they have a bunch of places like Lowe's, and then like strip malls had them because they point them toward their parking lot. I know banks have them also a lot too, because that way if there's a theft or something, then you can kind of hopefully track a license plate a little faster.
And I think it's kind of odd. I think people need to like look at the big picture here. This is IMO, Erin's opinion here, editorializing a little bit here. But I think that I'm less concerned about Flock cameras and more concerned about the intrusive surveillance that happens on our phones and on the internet. So I don't know, maybe that is something that people should think about, just how intrusive the technology that we use today is versus something that's clearly being used for a public safety purpose. But you looked into, they have an auditing process in place, and I think Chief Wilde talked a little bit about this at the Monday meeting, but can you walk us through exactly what happens when, and like the city, it's not like anybody has access to these cameras, right?
Yeah, well, what Eric Wilde told me is that they log like every license plates, and then they run it by a national crime database. So if there's, in this database, it says this license plate belongs to a stolen car, and then that license plate passes a Flock camera, the little computers that officers have in their car, they'll get a ping, and then they can kind of narrow it down where that car is and move a little faster. And then with the auditing, it's like if anybody is going through and using the Flock system, and you can send requests like, all their audits from the past year. It's a lot of information, kind of just looks like a big graph that is hard to parse through, but it's basically just like for every single time they look through, they have to log what they were using it for, so that people can't necessarily just go through and look at random people for their own use.
Right. Okay. So there's guardrails. He made clear there's guardrails. Before we move on to talk more about Monday night city council meeting, we're going to hear from another one of our sponsors, Hen House. And I have an update about Hen House. You can join the News Tribune for coffee and donuts with a News Tribune sponsor and NT Daily sponsor, Hen House. They're, world famous donuts. Next Wednesday, August 26th, so a week from today, 7:30 to 8:30. I will be there. We can talk about the NT Daily. We can talk about anything you want to. So come see us next Wednesday at Hen House for some donuts and coffee with the News Tribune. And today's NT Daily is also brought to you by our friends at Hen House Fresh Foods. And we've got a brand new week of deals that start today. With school starting back, let's focus on the two things every household really needs right now: easy dinners and something to put in those lunch boxes. Hen House has whole boneless pork loins for $1.79 a pound, family pack boneless pork chops, and fresh brats or beer brats for $3.99 a pound. For school lunches, you can grab the Ketchmar turkey breast, King's Hawaiian sweet rolls. In the produce aisle, they have green and red seedless grapes. And in the bakery, those dozen chocolate chip cookies. I picked some of those up this week. It was a good decision. So you can send them to school with turkey, sandwich, grapes, and a cookie and feel like you really got this whole parenting thing figured out, at least until the end of this week. So these deals run August 19th through the 25th at Hen House. Go see our friends at 1904 Southwest Boulevard in Jefferson City. And remember, we will be there in person a week from today. Today's NT Daily is also sponsored by Coleman Appliance. They're family-owned, locally rooted with more than 70 years of combined experience on their sales floor. So when you walk into their 4,000 square foot showroom, you're talking to people who actually know appliances. Coleman Appliance carries top brands like GE, Bosch, Frigidaire, Speed Queen, and more, and they stay on top of the latest manufacturer rebates and promotions to help you get the best value available. Whether you're replacing one appliance or starting fresh, visit Coleman Appliance in Jefferson City and let their local team help you find the right fit for your home. One more thing the council did on Monday was that they officially moved an increase to the public safety sales tax to the November ballot. And Chief Wilde has been out there talking a lot about the need to increase the sales tax from 25 cents to half.
Yeah, it's only at a quarter-cent rate, and it would go to a half-cent rate. The ballot language will say quarter-cent, but it's because they're adding it to the current quarter-cent to make it a half-cent. So they're asking for an increase.
So it's not a renewal, but they are going back to a vote of the people to increase that and talk about some of the reasons Chief Wilde has asked for this increase.
So I think the main reason that he would say is probably salaries, is that, in order to attract and keep police officers, you need to have competitive salaries, and Jefferson City has kind of struggled with that, and they have been vacant up to, I think, 13 officers this year, and which means that people from other divisions, so like the school resource officer, will have to go to patrol sometimes.
Okay.
And so they really just need more money for that, and then on top of equipment, everything is getting more expensive. A lot of technology stuff is getting very expensive, and storage, kind of those things.
Okay, we'll have to have Chief Wilde on to talk more about that. But that is officially going to be on the ballot in November. And final thing, I don't know that it was on the agenda on Monday, but we got news that the River Market's official open, they stayed kind of pretty much within the timeline they told us. They said summer or early fall. September 3rd, River Market officially opens. I think that you and I might get a sneak peek next week, which I'm very excited about. You've seen the area. I have not been by to see it yet, so I'm really excited about that. But tell me a little bit more about just their unveiling. Is there going to be another ribbon cutting, or there like a grand opening event?
A big ribbon cutting on that September 3rd date, which the parks director had said during a meeting. And they've also talked a lot about what the kind of events that they want to have, and some of them sound really interesting because I don't really think Jefferson City has had a whole lot of them, like a community garage sale.
Love that.
Really interesting.
Need that. Love that for me.
And then the Parks Department every year does a thing called a teddy bear picnic, and they want to maybe move that to the market. So really kind of like really cool events. And then they'll also have like food trucks there, and then a farmer's market and fitness classes. And they really want to, I think, make the most out of this.
Yes, I'm excited. I also think Parks Director, it's not totally confirmed yet, but he has promised me that he would be on the show. I think he might be on next week. So I would love to have Erin Griffgraff join us next week as a special guest. We'll get that worked out and we'll keep you updated. I'm just saying there's a correlation, not causation, but every river town I've lived in has had a river market. So I'm not saying Erin moved back and suddenly there's a river market, but certainly there's a correlation there. That's all I'm going to say about that. So Stephi and I will keep you updated. We'll get some coverage of that next week ahead of September 3rd. And Stephi Smith, thank you as always for being on the show.
Thank you for having me.
We're going to be at the State Fair the rest of the week. And so I would love to hear about what your favorite things at the State Fair are. What should I check out? Kelton and I have to hang out all day tomorrow. He's really looking forward to it. And I think Jake has to put up with us a little bit too. So send us your thoughts on your favorite things to do at the State Fair. What are your favorite things to eat? What's the weirdest thing you've eaten at the State Fair? I think we maybe need to have a viral video of me trying unique food at the State Fair. We can rank it.
Just like the big lemonades.
Okay.
Lemonades that they put into like a soup container.
Here we go. Okay. So we need your ideas, folks. Let me know what you think I should try at the State Fair. It's been a long time since I've eaten some food at the State Fair. So That's it for the NC Daily. We will see you back tomorrow in Sedalia, Missouri.